Welcome to Poland Daily History with me, Nicholas Richardson. In the previous episode, we discussed Stanisław Wojciechowski, Poland's second president, who was sworn into office in 1922 after the assassination of his predecessor, Gabriel Narutowicz. In this episode, we will discuss how he reacted to Marshal Pilsudski's initiative to launch a military coup and take power from him in 1926.
Finally, Pilsudski had enough. There was another big threat that he saw on the horizon. In 1925, the Western powers also signed the Locarno Treaty with Germany, which guaranteed the German border in the west with France and the other states of Western Europe, but left out any declaration for Germany's eastern border. So it left a door open for Germany to possibly take back what they had lost in the Versailles Treaty and take back those territories of Western Poland, which the Germans felt belonged to them. So this general, that the Western powers, it was generally regarded that with the Locarno Treaty they were building closer and closer relations with Germany, and they could possibly let them attack Poland without reacting. Pilsudski in this situation felt that this political instability, that these changes in parliament with new governing coalitions taking place all the time, he had enough of it. And in May, as a new parliament, a new coalition government was created, he had enough and he launched the May coup. As I mentioned in a previous episode, during that coup, there was some quite intense fighting here in Warsaw, and more than 300 people were killed. And finally, Stanisław Wojciechowski agreed to meet with Pilsudski, the two former colleagues from the Socialist PPS party, for a talk on a bridge in central Warsaw. They spoke. They still both maintained their positions, that both demanded for the other side to withdraw and lay down their weapons. But in the end, after Wojciechowski had retreated back and thought about the situation once again, he decided that he would evacuate from the presidential palace in Belvedere, and he would move. Initially, they were thinking about moving to Poznań, where they had strong support, and continue the fighting from there, getting reinforcements. But in the end, Wojciechowski, he lost heart. He felt that the threat of this fratricide fighting spreading across Poland would lead to a major civil war, and he simply wanted to avoid it. So he agreed to step down, and Pilsudski took power in 1926 and held it until his death in 1935. So this was the major moment in Wojciechowski's life. Later he would continue serving in the Second Polish Republic, being an academic lecturer at a university that was focused on agricultural techniques, since he was from this agrarian party. During the Second World War, he was faced with personal tragedy, as he remained in Poland, and his son Edmund was arrested by the Gestapo. The first time since Wojciechowski had the position that he had, he managed to get help from some of the people that had been close to Pilsudski, who contacted the Germans and let his son Edmund out. But the second time he was arrested again, this time for defending his Jewish friends that he knew from the bar association, as he was a lawyer. This time the Germans, they wanted Wojciechowski to sign a declaration in which he stated that the Polish government in exile in London is illegitimate. Wojciechowski refused to do so, and the Germans immediately sent his son to Auschwitz, where he died from typhus after a few months. Wojciechowski was naturally devastated by the news, and he reacted by blaming Poland's situation on what had happened during the May coup in 1926, and for the rest of his life he cursed Piłsudski's coup and told everybody who would listen to him that this was the major cause behind everything that had gone bad in the Polish Republic since 1926. And according to him, everything had been bad since 1926. He finally passed away in 1953, the same year that Stalinism ended. But he died early on in the year, and he didn't really see it. So you could say that after having fought so hard at the first stage of his life to restore Polish independence, then taking part in forming Polish troops in Russia following the February Revolution, being very active during the Polish Bolshevik War, serving as the second president. He was one of those men who died in a Poland that was very far away from what they wished it to be. So he died at the age of 84, at old age, but unfortunately in a poor mental state, also having witnessed the death of his son, which was partly, well, you can't really blame him for doing what he did, but at the same time, he might have been aware that if he would have given up some of his pride and national allegiance, then maybe he could have spared the life of his son. So quite a tragic end to a long and eventful life.
Adam, I'm just going to have to interrupt you there. As usual, the studio clock is blinking in the corner, saying that we must bring this episode to a halt, but we will, with your permission, take up the story next time. There we are. I've had to stop Adam almost in mid-sentence. But we will be back on Poland Daily History in the next episode to pick up where we left off. Thank you for watching, and do join us next time on Poland Daily History.